Hello everyone. This is Sandy from Ledoux Designs, hoping that some of you will want to join in today, making a little bit more space on my desk. So today I decided to do something St. Patrick's Day. So I have chosen this pot of gold set. Hi Irene. From Trinity Stamps. We're going to color it up and make a card tonight. So we're going to have to get started pretty quick, but I wanted you to see it's just one stamp and 2 sentiments. Happy St. Patrick's Day, which is good because that's the only one I have that says that. And then good luck. And tonight we're going to use good luck. But I will definitely be using this one for some other cards that I make. I just needed a break from the thank you cards I've been making. So this is called, again, Pot of Gold from Trinity Stamps. This is what we're going to color tonight. I've already stamped it since it's quite a big image. It'll take a little bit of time to color. So I want to go ahead and get started. If you jump on, if somebody could say hi just so I can make sure I can see the comments, I would greatly appreciate it. We're going to start off with the skin tone. So it looks like I haven't colored this one yet at all, so we're just jumping right in. Hey Cheryl. It looks like his little hands, his face, and then I'm assuming that his little leg here and his foot, like there, that would have pants on. So we're not going to have to do any skin tone down here, only at the top. Hey, Cheryl, I'm doing okay. I'm hanging in there. Better this week than last week. So we're going to go ahead and do the skin tone. We don't have that much to do on it. So I've only chosen 4 colors. I have, E000, E13, E11, and E00. I'm going to use this little Copic holder that I got from Pajama Crafter Stamps to hold my markers while I work on my project. So I'm also going to put the caps in here so you can see the number. You'll always know what number I'm working on. So I think that's really helpful. Hey mom, the E000 is what we're going to put as a base coat. So really just wetting the paper. We're using hammer mill paper, the one with the chameleon on the front of the package. I like it. I'm pretty happy with it. Thank you so much, Cheryl. Mom joined in just now too. She needs some distracting cool stuff to do, so we're just gonna color this cutie patootie right here. We just wet the base, and then I'm gonna zoom in so you guys can see if I can get it to do it. Oh, there it goes. So you guys can see a little better what I'm doing if you're watching on your phone. We're gonna do E13 next. And I'm going to put it just up underneath his hat. But his little nose, well, it's not a little nose. It's a big nose. Hey, Beth. Welcome, welcome. And I want to do the underside of his nose instead of the top side because I'm sort of assuming that his nose is sticking out further than his hat, so it wouldn't have a shadow on it. But there would be a little bit on the hand, on the lower parts of the fingers, back side of the thumb, and then this one around the wrist, and then inside where the fingers are closed together, and then a little bit between each one. So we don't need a whole lot in there. We just need enough to have some dark color. So I'm just going to do one more right here under the hat because I want that to stand out a little more. So just going to go ahead and touch that up just a tad before we move on. So E11 will be next, and we are going to use R11 to put a little bit of red, a little bit of pink on his nose and his cheeks, but we'll get to that after this color. So this is E11, and we're just going to soften that line and extend out a little bit further. This will give us more smooth coloring. Some things require a smooth blend, well blended, and some things you want to leave the lines and such for texture. Right, Mom? For sure. We're all just trying to get through. So I'm just blending out a little bit further from where I put that original color. And then just extending it out a little bit. So as you can see, his nose stands out just a little bit more. But I like that because it is the most prominent part on the little gnome is their nose. So before we go into the E00, which is the last color, we're going to add a little bit of this R11. Oh no, you're in the middle of a blizzard. Oh yeah, you know what? We had all the alarms last night of a tornado, but no tornado, thank goodness. Thank you so much, Danny. Just catch the replay and you'll be great. Your checkbook is screaming at you. I have to have them. Yes, I'll send you the link to this one too. This is Whimsy Stamps, and I love this little gnome. I didn't have anything for St. Patrick's Day, so I thought this one would be perfect. So I ordered this a while ago, but I knew I was going to do it on a live for you guys. Thank you so much, Danny. It's been rough, but we're getting through it. Lots of family, all the family was together, and that was really nice. E00. So now I'm just going to blend those colors with the pinks I put in there. The pink won't stand out a whole lot, but I wanted just enough to be in there. Just enough to make the little tip of his nose look kind of pink. However, I may need to add I think I need to add just a little bit more because he's got this little white spot here that's blended out from the E00. So I just added a little bit more of E11 in there. And then I'm just going to blend those two together. And now it's perfect. You're having a blizzard too? Oh, I'm telling you, we didn't have a blizzard, but we were awoken at 5:30 this morning with extremely high winds and the alarm going off in Rowlett saying seek shelter for potential tornado. So we were in our bathroom with our blankets until it was safe to come out. So yeah, it's a little bit crazy. Oh yeah, that's a good question. Southern Iowa. I know someone in Kansas City who said they were supposed to get a blizzard tonight as well. So, yikes. Yikes. Yucky weather. Okay, so next we're going to work on the little beard. Now, I know I've had a few people ask me how I do the beard, and I usually use W3, 1, and 00, and then I add in the colorless blender. This is one time when you don't want to smooth out those lines so much. You want to kind of leave it because you want this to be textured like hair. So I'm going to start. I like to start around the edges where I can see that the artist added like lines to guide me in what they had their intent for this beard. So I like to start with that, and then I'll just go from there. It kind of helps just get you started, because a beard like this can feel a little bit overwhelming, and you're like, do I go this way or that way or up or down, or what do I do? And just following the artist drawn lines will give you that guide to get started. And then once you get started, you should just feel, you know, I mean, most people just feel it once they get rolling. It's just getting started is the hardest part. Now, since we have some lines going up and some going in towards here, we want the ones that are underneath his nose to go down towards those ones that we started. So like for this one, I'm going to do some short, some long. I want it to look a little bit like some of them are longer, shorter, skinnier, fatter, just so it's not consistently the same thing. But you'll notice that my lines from the top and the bottom are supposed to try to meet up at some point. She was checking on, oh yeah, she's the very best. I'm so glad. I sent her a video tonight. I have Cooper right now, you guys. He's in bed already, though, because it's a school night, and Grandma can't let him stay up late on a school night because he'll be tired. But he read a small book to me, and I sent a video to his mama. It was so cute. I can't believe he's reading. It just blows my mind. Now, I'm going to put just a few little random additional lines inside here because I want this to look like it's actually a flowing beard, and it needs to have the lines going all the way through it, not just at the top and around the edges. So yeah, he did really good. He read me the whole story and he did great. I was so impressed. W1 is next. Now, we only have 3 colors, so this one will be around the outside. This one will cover all of the outside edges. And then we'll just start working, extending out those lines that we put in there in the darker gray. And we'll also be adding some lines in between to start filling it in. So just holding that marker upright and getting those long brush strokes will help blend this enough. We don't want to blend it thoroughly. We just want to give it a little bit of blending. And I only add, he's 7 now. I only add a little bit of the colorless blender if I feel like it needs it. That one is optional. I wouldn't do it, I wouldn't say it's a required. Depends on how light or dark you want the beard to be. It's really up to you. Hey Sandra, thank you for popping in. I'm going to do it a little bit darker up here under his nose, so a second layer real quick. Just because he'd have a little bit more shadow up close by his face and his hat. So I wanted to just get a little bit of extra in there. Now we still have some white areas, so we're going to use the W00 to work that. They learned to read early in school, but I'm sure Grandma and his mom helps them read too. Yes, exactly. I'm not sure what's going on, but I'll pray for you and your family. No. You and your mom bring me so much joy. Oh, thank you, Beth. You love the beard? I do too. So those who don't know, I'm only going to say this once and super fast, but we lost my 24-year-old nephew a week and a half ago to a car accident. So that's what's going on in case people were wondering. But that's about all I can say before the tears start rolling. So that gives you a quick rundown, but thank you for the prayers. I really appreciate it. They were definitely needed, and it means the world to me that you guys care. So this, I'm just filling in any areas I left white, because I think the white looks funny unless you want a really old gnome with some gray hair, but otherwise... And I think he looks good enough that I don't think he necessarily needs to have the colorless blender. So I'm not actually going to use that this time because I feel like we don't need it. Yes, Sandra, we have. It's been difficult, but thank you so much. I really appreciate everybody. And Sandra, your patience and getting my order in and stuff like that was just amazing. I have some very amazing friends, even ones I haven't met in person yet. Okay, so next what I want to do is I'm going to skip around a little bit. So I want to work on the gold next because some people can't stay the whole time, although they can come back and watch later. But the gold is sometimes the challenging part for people, so I want to go ahead and do that first. Exactly, Mom. So what I have is Y28, Y26, YR23, Y21, and if for some reason that doesn't give me a bright enough color, sometimes I will bring in a little bit of Y11, but we'll see how it goes with these four first. Okay, so Y28 it's actually the one that's called Lionel Gold, and so it's not really gold. It's kind of dark, rustic gold looking. So, you'll see as I start coloring it, but we're going to do the gold coins and then we're going to do the buckles. So the little buckle on his shoe and this one up here on his hat. So I'm just going to do cross corners. That's usually what I do when I'm trying to show a little bit of highlight on a buckle, is I just choose which, one side will have a little bit more shadow than the other. So I went ahead and put that in there. Now I think we'll probably do the horseshoe as well, but I don't want to do too much at one time. So I'm just gonna start putting in a bit of shadow in the gold coin area, but I'm not gonna put it in a smooth line. I want this to look like a lot of a pot of gold laying there, so that's why it's gonna look kind of random for now, but it'll fill in. You'll see. And then we need to also do the little coins he's tossing and the ones that are falling out of the pot. The balloons are your favorite from this design. They're really cute. I'm excited about doing them. I am excited about them. I think it's cool. These are just shapes, so they don't technically look necessarily like coins right away, but I think they'll look enough by the image of the picture and what's going on that you'll know it's gold coins. But there are some small lines that show where they think the shadow should be, so we're adding that. So next is going to be Y26, and this one brings in a little bit of a mustardy yellow, a little bit on the gold side, but also has a little bit of that rustic brownish color in it. So that's where I'm going to use for a lot of my shadowing. It's bright gold enough that it helps with that shiny pot of gold he's got going on here. Boy, wouldn't we all just love to find ourselves a pot of gold right now? Seriously. No more bad weather, just pots of gold all over the place. Wouldn't that be amazing? Could really use a pot of gold right now. There we go. I want this to look like it's a gold coin sticking out as well. Thank you, Beth. Beth said I'm a coloring wizard. It's just practice and experience from playing around with colors, and it doesn't hurt that I'm an artist too, but I don't know that everybody sees colors the same way that I see them. It's like when you look at a picture and you want it to be a color, you have to be able to see the other colors that are also within that picture. Like a red wouldn't necessarily be just a red. It might have some pink, it might have some purple, it might have some other colors in it, and you just have to be able to pick those out. And until you really know how they work, you almost have to just trial and error. Just practice and practice and practice.
I mean, it's definitely a learned trait because I would have no idea what to do with Copics, but for paint, I can do it with paint.
It's kind of the same idea with paint. So it'll come to you faster because you have done paint before. Now I'm going to switch to YR23, which I also feel like gives you a fairly good gold tone. It's also going to deepen up some of those areas. So I'm going to use this one kind of to go over the first color so that we can get that like rustic look out of this image, because I don't want it to look like old coins. I just want it to look gold, like a pot of gold. Which is why we're going to need a brighter color after this, because now we've toned this down pretty good, that we're going to need just a lighter color to really bring it up. So with this one, I'm just going to go around the other side of these coins. Start building in that full circle. Well, that's what happens if you don't have a big space and you aren't holding your marker up right. You may end up coloring the whole thing in, and that's okay because you can put the lighter color on top and it'll be just fine. Okay. Wait, I'm going to go back and read that. Yes. That you have to go through my thoughts are with you. Thank you. I'm dyslexic, but you still love coloring. Well, that's awesome. I know you can color. Haven't I seen some of your work? I know you can color. We're always our worst critic. Hi, Jana. Is it Jana? Jana? I'm not really sure exactly how to, I always say Jana, so I hope that's right. I'm going to go ahead and use this Y21. It's a buttercup color, but it's enough of a yellow to kind of get that gold to the color I want it to be. When we use the white gel pen to bring that out, it's going to look really good. But I think this is a really good color. And I've worked really hard on coming up with a gold because I'm not sure that that Copic really gives you a good gold without blending colors together. So the good thing about this one is that, yay, that this Y21 has a lot more colorless blenders. So if we don't blend along where we put the dark and we only put where the lightest area is, it kind of moves the ink around a little bit and gives us that appearance that this is a stack of coins going on in here. So I'll show you what I mean here in just a second. It's just kind of pushing that color around a little bit. And you can always use a pen or like a gold pen or something if you wanted to get them to really be gold. I mean, I have one of those, but I wanted to show you how to do it with Copic versus just using a gold pen. Some things I'd feel like it's really important to use that gold pen just to really make it shine, but then others I don't. So I'm going to hold it up so you can see. There's a small area down in here where you can see that the ink has been moved around so that it looks like it's stacked of coins upon coins rather than just a little pile of gold. So yeah, that's how I do those. Now I'm going to do his shoes and the pot the same color because I feel like the shoes, even though I would normally do them brown, I feel like they just might look just right if I used a gray color. And in this case, I'm going to actually use N. So I think I'm going to use all of these. So N9, 7, 6, 5, and 4. Those are going to be the colors that I want to use for this. So the pot will have more of 9, 7, and 6, and the bottom of the shoes. But then the tops of the shoes will have more of the 4 and the 5 and the 4. So that's my plan. We're going to start off with our N9. I'm also going to make this, I'm going to make his hat green. So I'm also going to make this hat band in the black. So I'm following the same place I put those dark colors on the shadow with the black, just so we can keep that same scenario going on. You don't want to change it up. You want to keep it the same so it makes sense. I am going to do a little bit from this side, just because we want to keep that looking round. And I'm going to do a teeny bit on this side too, but not quite as much as the other because it's a smaller space. So I'm going to start with the shoes. I like to put a bit of really dark right here when there's just one line to separate the shoe, because I feel like that helps give it depth and make it look like it's a heel versus just a regular shoe. And then around this area right here, I'm just going to do this whole thing in the darkest color. That's the side of the shoe, like this one, all in that one color. Now, I'm going to keep going because I really want to do the pot in this color as well. So I'm going to start up here under where the beard is. I also want to go along this line right here where the gold is, because that will help the gold stand out. And then I'm going to skip to under the lip of this cauldron. Should be a bit of shadow underneath that as well. I'm not going to go all the way across, but I want to get some of that in there. Oh my goodness, Dale, that is a mighty big yawn. I'm also going to work on these handles. There is a lot of wind out there. And the artist put some lines in here, so we're going to accent those a little. And we also want to do around the bottom of this. So I'm going to start off by building this little fence along the bottom so that I don't go off the image. I'm going to accent this artist drawn line right here. And I'm going to do that on the other side as well. These lines that they put in there, don't know if you'll be able to see them quite as well when it's done. But for now, I'm going to stick them in there so I can still see them. Then I'm going to start going up in the bottom of the pot. If this was red, it'd look like we was cooking this little guy. But we don't want to cook him. But we do want his pot of gold. So I will work more on the sides of these as we change markers. So there we go. That's our darkest color. The storm is crazy. Tornado warnings and now severe thunderstorm. It was so windy today. I know exactly what you mean, Jana, because we had our tornado alarm last night, 5:30 in the morning actually. We're in the bathroom. You're in Alabama, which is probably why you're getting it tonight. We got more of that yesterday, but yeah, the wind is bad. Okay, so N7 is next. So I'm going to start building out from where I put that first N9. We're going to go away from the buckle and then come in from the side. We're going to do that on both sides. Oh, he's just so stinking cute. Mardi Gras parades were moved up before it got too bad. Oh, that's good. That's real good. That would be such a bummer if they hadn't done that. So now we're just expanding out from where we put this N9. I almost said C9. But we all know we're not using that. We're using N. I am coming around this corner, but leaving a little bit of that white because I want it to be a lighter color. So I'm going to soften this harsh line that I put along the edge. Just soften that up a bit. And I'm going to extend the underside one that I started. And then we're going to start filling this in a little bit. Now you could do this pot going this way, or you can do it up and down. It's kind of personal preference. I usually go in from the side, but in this case, I just felt like up and down would maybe be easier or different than what I normally do, so you guys would see something a little different. I know nobody wants to watch the same thing colored all the time, so I try to change it up a little bit when I can. And then we're going to come in here and do a little bit here. And now I'm going to start working this one, the top part going down. So we need it to be matching up with the ones that are coming up. And we'll meet up in the middle in a little bit. We get through a few more colors. So want to be careful going around the coin so you don't color it in black. That would be a bummer. Although I'm not sure you would really see it if you hadn't. I'm going to put a little shadow under them since they are right in front of the pot. I want to blend this out just a little bit right here. So I want to start getting that going round and round, same as this side. So we're going to start that. I'm going to come in here and soften up this one line that we put in here. And then we got to do a little bit on here. There we go. And now it's time to do the next color. Now, I said I thought we were going to use mostly 9, 7, and 6, but we'll probably use 5 as well. Oh, I bet it was scary. Tornadoes scare me a lot. So I had really butterflies in my stomach when we were hiding out in the bathroom and the wind was so bad and the storm was so bad. I was so scared. My stomach was in knots, and just because you never know when things like that could happen, and scary. So I want to keep the bottom of this shoe pretty dark. So I'm going to finish it up with this last color. But see how much more that shoe looks like it has different levels by adding that dark color right where the shoe, right where the heel is. It really makes a difference. Here we go. We're going to use the 5 for some highlight and texture. So that's why we're going to use that color. I want it to show just a little bit of texture on here as well. So here we go. These are going to go up. The other ones are going to go down. Still going to keep them in brush strokes. I'm just getting some ink in there right now. And then I'm going to go back and kind of soften these transitions. so that we don't have a whole lot of lines. We definitely need to get some color over here. And then we're going to go down. Same thing. We're going to go, once we get around these coins, we're going to go kind of fast. And we want them to get pretty close to the other end. So there's the fast ones that just get the color in there and wet the paper. And then we come back again. And we start working that area so we don't see those lines right there. And I do that second step a little bit slower and a little bit heavier handed so more ink comes out of the marker. Okay, that leaves us just a little bit. Now, when we do the N5, we're going to do more blending. We want it to be a smoother blend. So this whole process right here is going to be some back and forth to try to blend those colors together. It'll give us smooth, but also it gives that little bit of look of texture, which I really like. And you need that, you need to go down to at least 5 to get that. Now we're going to also start the shoes. So I'm going to go here, and I'm just going to touch these areas where it was white. Remember, this is a very heavy, saturated with colorless blender. So the more you touch it, the more it's going to move the ink. And that'll give us that little lip on the edge of the pot, the way that you want it to look. I'm going to go ahead and get this handle done. And then we're going to start building this in. And I would say I'm using maybe a pressure of like 3 or 4 because I really want to get that ink in the paper. And I'm going to do half, and then we're going to look at the texture that you can see. So you can really see what I'm talking about. And again, you can do your pot up and down, or you can do your pot side to side. It's up to you, whatever you like. So when you look at this, it's blended, but it also shows like that really light, almost textured, so that it really does look like a pot. The more that we do it, the more it's going to show that white. So you don't want to do too much. Yes, everybody stay safe in the midst of these crazy storms. So here we go. Now we got to get this other end filled in. Going to be a little tricky when we get around the coins, but it'll be okay. I promise. We're just going to be a little bit more careful. And we're not going to touch that shadow because we don't want to wash that out. And if we need to, we can always go back in and add that shadow a little bit more. Once I got around that coin, I can then just keep going back and forth again. It looks like I need a little bit more heavy color in here. Once it starts drying, you can really see where you might need some more color. I want to lighten this side up a little bit so it matches the other side, just to show the pot looks a little bit more rounded. So the more ink you put, the lighter it will get in those areas. So hopefully you can see it looks a lot brighter on screen than it does for real, but I'm going to go back in with my N7 and get my shadow back in here. I really want you to be able to see that. I think it looks cool. So there we go. And then I'm going to add just a little bit more back into these very small corners.
With all that coloring, how do you keep the paper from peeling, for lack of a better word?
It's the type of paper that you use. So if you aren't using a Copic friendly paper, it won't work. It really will start peeling. But I've used Express It, and Express It, if you put too much color down, the Express It will get sticky because you have so much ink laying on the top of the paper. And if you're using a non-Copic friendly paper, it will also start peeling, but it's the type of paper that you use. There's like a soft coating over this that prevents that from happening. So you can get a lot of ink on here before it does that. You can tell on the back how much ink I've put in each area. So you know I had a much heavier hand down here than I did in any of this up here.
What paper are you using?
Hammer Mill. I'm using the Hammer Mill paper. I like it. I've used a lot of different papers. So far, this one is my favorite one for right now, but I change my mind. Sometimes I change my mind a lot. After a time, I'll say, oh, I need something different, and I'll change it up to a different paper. Or somebody will say, try this, and I'll try it, and I'll like it, and I'll say, okay, I'll use that for a while. So, yeah, I can change it. I mean, right now, I'm saying this is my go-to paper, but I'm not saying it's the only paper or the best paper in the world. You can use any of the Copic friendly papers, and if you practice enough with it, you can get it to look really, really good. It's just every time you change paper, you got to practice with it because you don't want to end up not knowing what you're doing. So I know I've talked about it before, and I color in those books that you can buy at the Sassy Club. She has journals and planners that you can actually color in, but there is a little bit of a learning curve because it's different paper. You can do it, and it's beautiful when you do, but you definitely need to give yourself a little bit of time. Don't be hard on yourself. Okay, so now we have his little shoes done. I have no idea what his pants are going to be. Maybe he's just going to be all in green. So the green I chose, it's a little different than what I normally choose because normally I like to use like G99, YG67, those type of colors, which I probably will for the clovers. But for his actual clothes, I wanted it to be more of a green. So I chose G28, G19, and G09. Also, I like to switch my colors up so you guys can see getting all different shades of green with different combinations so that you can play around with your colors. And I think what I'll do is, I mean, I really think this is supposed to be part of his pants, but I don't know. That's a little bit weird looking to me right there. I'm not really sure, so I'm not going to do anything with that until I decide what I think that is. Where's my buddy that looks it up online and tells me what it is? Is that you, Beth? What is this right here? If you were to look at one colored at the shop, Whimsy Stamps, what did they color that as? Is it part of the pants, part of the shoe? Is it part of... What is it part of? I can't tell. I'm not really sure. Maybe it's beard, leg. I wouldn't think his leg would be under his shoe like that, though. Can't be the heel of his shoe because we're seeing the top of his shoes. I might make it black. There's a little bit of a shirt right here. So we're going to get some green in that. And then for the hat, we're going to start, because his hand is over here, we need the darkest color here. And this side as well. You thought it was a sock? I don't know. I can't really tell. If you ever wondered, like if you've ever gotten a stamp and you weren't sure what something was, when you're the artist and you're drawing it, you know what it is, so you don't notice that something feels odd about it because you know what you're drawing. But that doesn't mean that someone else won't be like, what is that? And it's nothing bad about the artwork or anything. It's just that our minds already know what we're drawing and already know what we're focused on. So we don't catch things that might look a little odd or a little different. We just don't see that. Just thought I'd share that little tidbit with you guys. I'm going to put up just a little bit through this part so that it can show a little bit more of a bend in his hat. And then I'm going to do a little bit right here as well. So right now we haven't done it green or black. I can't decide which way I want to do it. So we'll wait until we get to the end and see what color we need in there. G19 is next. So I'm going to start over here, work on this pant. As you can see, this color got significantly brighter than the last color. We only have 3, so now we have to do our round the outside with this one. Then we'll fill in the last color here in a few minutes. We also have to soften this part where I put the darkest color. And I'm going to do that all the way down to his nose. I'm also going to put just a few little lines out there. It'll help my color blend together a little better to have some of the other color right there. And since we went back and forth here, we got to go back and forth here. But we'll start shaping that up towards the top. We're going back and forth until the hat bends. And then we're going to start working into this little curve we have going on here. I want that to be darker. Very light up here. But we are going to extend out. So now we're starting to get some good color. All right, next color we have is G09. It's also a very bright color. So it's going to keep him in a very bright green color. A little bit of that back and forth. I want his hat to be a bit on the smoother side. And then we're going to move up to the hat. Kind of keeping with that back and forth, smoothing out those little rough areas. Much lighter touch on this because I don't want to put as much ink on here. Not like the pot. And as you can see, now that I'm moving on, that real dark color stayed right there, which shows the bend in the hat, which I really like that extra look. To show that little bit of a bend a little bit more than what you would normally see. You have this stamp, Michelle. Good job. That's excellent. Nothing's better than seeing somebody color one you already have. I think he needs green in here, so we are going to make this green. We are going to make that little spot green that I wasn't sure about. We're just going to hope it looks okay. And we're just going to make it green. But since he has green here and here, he kind of needs a little bit weighing over on this side, I think. So we're just going to add a little bit of green in here. Nobody is going to look at it and inspect it, so we're okay. They're going to be so excited when they see it. The only ones who are going to notice it are those who are hanging out with me. Okay, now I want to make these more like leaves, so I'm going to use a different combination of green. I'm going to go back to that green that I talked about earlier that I said I really, really liked. And we're going to use that for the clovers. So I have G99 for real dark. We won't use a lot of that, just a little. And then YG67, then YG17, and YG03. And that should get us where we want to be. It'll be a different color green, but it'll be okay. All right, so G99. We are going to have to color in a bit of background on this in order to make it complete. So we'll do that as soon as we finish coloring this. It won't take a long time. It's not elaborate. It's just going to be a little bit. So for the center of these, I'm just going to put a couple little brush strokes in there of this darkest color. And then this is actually a clover, but this is a balloon. So just going to do the accent pieces right here. And then wherever they have the balloon folding, not a balloon would not fold like that, but whatever, you know why they have that there. And then we're just going to put a little bit in the center of each, at the bottom of each side, just to keep that depth in the center. Also, I think I'm going to go along the edge of this, just like that. I love this stamp. I think this stamp is so cute. And I can think of so many different ways to color this. YG67. So just extending those little brush strokes just a little bit because we still have two colors. Same thing here, extending them out just a little bit. Not really going to do around the outside or any other stuff. We're just building off from those center points and the stem. YG17, this one is a little bit brighter, which is why I chose to use it for the around the outside. It'll kind of brighten up that color just a little bit. The last color is going to have a bit of yellow in it, so it's really going to brighten up our little clovers. There we go, leaving a little bit of space for the last color. This one, time for round the outside. Like I said, this is a much lighter color, so you'll see that right now. Start extending, leaving just the top portion of the heart for the last color. We want to work out, this is a balloon, it's not going to have lines in it, so we want to work out those little spots and make sure we don't leave anything that's not smooth, because then it'll look a little funny. Down here on the stem, we're going to finish off with this color. Round the outside again. Now we have to work this center part right here. Gonna go over it one more time. Usually try to let it dry a little bit so that a second layer will blend it nicely. Around the outside. Notice I'm kind of leaving these little circles alone because you know on balloons there's usually a really highlight spot, and I'm going to use that as my highlight. I had to build my own on the top one because there's not a spot like that, and I'm okay with that. And I like the different color greens because it just makes each piece stand out when you change the green color. So we could have made the pot the same color as this, and that would have been cute too. This is YG03. It's a much brighter color, and I'm going to go from the edge into that darkest area because I don't want that center to drag out to the edges of my petal, of my leaves. petals, leaves. I don't know what you call them when it's a clover, but you know what I mean. Because you're watching, so you get it. So that kind of finishes up our little 4-leaf clover, and then we're going to work on this one. So again, from the top down, we'll keep that light area. If I go from the bottom up, it's going to blend that dark into it and make it darker. And I like to have that really bright highlight. So now I'm just going to go back and forth right here to kind of smooth out that transition spot. And now the top of that is much lighter. So for this one, I'm going to do that, just that little tiny area right there. I want to keep that very light. And then I'm going to start working from the inside of this flower, of this petal, flower, leaf, whatever you want to call it. So see how it leaves like a lot of highlight around there where I put this color? Where if I go this way, I'm going to actually lighten the center and blend that dark color out. So doing this one the same way, from the edge in. And we want to leave this really light, so we're only going to put that color in there. I'm just softening the transition areas real quick. There we go. So now we have, I went a little bit too far in there and I lightened that area. So I'm going to go back in with this YG17 right here and just add a tad bit more back in there so that I don't have white spots on my petals. There we go. Perfect. That makes me super happy. Now, I'm not really sure what these little spots are for, but I think what we're going to do is make that horseshoe gold and put black spots on it. So we can start with the gold, and if we color into those little spots, it won't matter because we're just going to cover them with black anyway. So this is the Y28. I'm going to go along the areas where the artist left some hints on where they wanted there to be some shadow-ish area. I'm also going to do in this little part right there that's part of the balloon, and maybe a little bit on this side. Now we're going to come back in with our Y26. Remember, we're not going to do the round outside until we get to the next color. So we're just blending from where our darkest color was. We're just blending out a little bit from there. Just working that a little bit there. I like this little horseshoe. I think it's really cute. I think Sandra had it right. These little balloons are the cutest. I haven't decided what I'm doing with the rainbow yet, but the rainbow might be a little bit more pastel colors. I'm going to try to stick with some of the same colors we already used. YR23 is going to be around the outside. It's a little bit on the darker side, so you want to make sure you're using really light hand. I'm going to go along here, but not all the way to the edge because I want to keep that fairly light. All right, now I want to go underneath these just to make sure they're smoothed out underneath each one of the little spots. Oops, I almost missed one, you guys. Almost. Now we're going to use, oh, we need a little bit of this in here. Now we're going to use that last color, which is Y21. And I'm really just going to soften any areas I have to and just put it in that area. I want this to look a little bit more textured than the other one. Soft around the outside where the white is. Nothing wrong with having a little bit of a goldy, rusty horseshoe. Gonna soften this color around here. And one more shot right there. Nice. I love the way it came out. I hope you guys like it too. I do want to put the black in there, so I think we're gonna go with 7. And we're just going to put it around the bottom. This should go by pretty quick. And then we're going to come in with that 5 that I told you is the one that has a little bit of extra colorless blender in it than the 6. So it'll look like it's 2-dimensional. It'll give me that variation. There we go. So cute. I love it. One more. I'll hold that up so you can see it just a little bit. You can definitely see the shadowy areas, which is really cool. All right, I do have a red color here. You know what? I am absolutely terrible at knowing the colors of a rainbow. So hopefully I can get a little bit close. I think I'm going to do orange, red, blue, purple, I think it is. I don't know. But that's what we're going to do. It's probably not a good rainbow, but oh well. You know, I never said it was the best rainbow. I almost have to look it up every time. Not kidding. So R37. Just going to do these in red. The bottom parts of the rainbow thing. And then I'm going to work on just this inside one right here. And we're just going to do each one. Oh, I said orange and I went with red. Oh, well, I guess we're going to probably add some green in there then. I don't know. We're just going to pick 4 random colors. What can I say? R35 is next. The only ones that'll know it wasn't exactly what I planned is you guys that are hanging out with me and anybody who's watching the replay. Otherwise, when I post the card, nobody will know. Let's go ahead and color this in so it stays a little bit darker. He is stinking cute, Beth. You are right. R32 is what we're going to soften this up a little bit. We may have to do tip to tip because it's a big jump from this 35 to this 32, and I don't really want that much on my rainbow. So I'm just going to take my 32, rub it along my 35, and put that color in there. And look, that's a little bit on the not quite red, but a cherry red. And since we're playing along, I think I have, like, I could almost do a yellow, like an orange right now. So that's what I'm going to do. we're just going to put orange in there. I know it's not the right sequence of the rainbow, but it's a balloon, not a real rainbow. So this is YR18. It's going to be a pretty dark orange, so I am going to carry this up the side of the rainbow a bit. And then YR16 is next. Significantly lighter than the last color. We're going to finish this part off right here. And then we're going to do around the outside and leave a little bit for our last highlight color. Which is going to be YR14. And that'll give a little bit more color to the picture, because right now all you see is green and gold and black. So I think it'll be all right. All right, so my I think I'm going to go into a purple color now. I have V06. This is colors I was using for another project I was working on. So this is a little bit of a pinky purple. And I think it matches nicely. It's not overpowering. It's very soft. And then we'll move into a blue color. And that'll be enough. I mean, it's a mini rainbow. What can I say? RV66 is going to be next. This one, I'm going to go all the way around. This one changes a little bit more to a fuchsia than the purple we were seeing before. And our next color, blue, is going to be fairly dark, so it's okay that I got a little bit over. This is V05, the last color. I mean, I can't even think of what color Lucky Charms rainbow is. But this is pretty. I like this color. So we're going to go to blue blue, which is B26, 24, and then B32. So this will just, I could have went with green, but I like that it stands out a little bit. Want to go around this edge with this darkest color, cover up any spots if I happen to go too far with the purple. And I think I want to go up just a little bit higher with this darkest color. You know, we can, because that's a much bigger portion of the rainbow. So we need a little bit more ink on that one. You like it? We're about to do a quick background to add to it as well, because we can't leave him on just a white background. It just looks too funny. We gotta ground him a little bit. And then the last color is B32. And that'll finish off our little rainbow and our little photo and our coloring. There we go. So cute. Now we are going to add some white gel pen and stuff, but I'm going to use, I want to make this ground brown. So I'm going to use E44, 43, and 42. You like it? And we're just going to do this kind of quick. The artist already drew some lines in here for you, so we're going to go along those lines. I'm just kind of going out a little bit so you can see that this is the ground. Then I'm going to go right up along the pot just to build that little wall right there. And then we're going to use our 43. Lucky Charms commercial said red, yellow, blue, and green. Oh my gosh, you're right, they did. I remember that. I remember that. Now that you said that. I mean, I love Lucky Charms, so I'm surprised I don't know off the top of my head. I'm surprised I didn't remember that. Kind of keeping the floor going in the same direction all the way across. We'll probably add in a little shadow spots on our coins after the fact. I think it'll be easier to do it that way. This isn't going to be an elaborate background. The focus is not the background. The focus is the leprechaun. We're just grounding him a little bit. Just adding a second coat to keep that consistency going. And then E42 is the last color, and I'm going to turn him upside down to do it. You could actually do it with this side if you really wanted to. Doesn't matter. It'll get a little bit more ink on the paper, but you can do it either way you want, with the brush or with the chisel end. But you definitely want to put more ink on the paper this time. And I'm probably going to leave a few of those little brush strokes showing. I'm not going to smooth this out completely. That way it looks a little bit like he's on a hill. And I kind of like that. So that's what I was going for. And that's the way it looks. So success. Like it when it works out that way. And it does kind of look like a hill, like that. So we're going to go back in with our E44, and we're just going to put a little bit of shadow underneath these coins, so it looks like they're showing a bit of shadow. And I'm going to add just a little bit more underneath here as well, because I want it to be a little bit different. So there we go. As you can see, that looks like brown. That's great. I love it. I'm going to take one of my favorite colors, B52 and B000, and we're just going to do a little bit around the edge. So we're literally going to just put this on the edge. We are not going to do all the way into him. We are just going to give him almost like a vignette, if you will, just around, so we have a little bit of decoration going on there, just so he looks like he's outside. So I'm only going to soften that with my last color, and then we're going to leave the inside part white. So I'm going to use my chisel end, and I'm going to soften this up. And if we need to, we may need to use our colorless blender. I'm not going to do it just like a straight line. I am going to kind of move it around, have it go in a little bit in some places, not in others. I mean, it needs to look a little bit dark. It was raining. He has a rainbow. I mean, it's not a real one, but you know. You get it. You get where I'm going with that. Pretty easy to do a little quick background where you don't have to put a whole lot of effort into it. Just a little bit. We are going to come in with the colorless blender, kind of smooth this out a little bit, so don't worry about that. It is going to happen. We will have to come in and touch up just these areas that meet up, just to soften that transition spot a little bit. That's why I'm going over it a second time. We'll have to do it on this side too, but it always helps if you let it dry a little bit before you do it. Okay, let's get our colorless blender out. Soften up these edges. So we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on the areas. We're just going to soften that blue. We want to leave that blue in the background, but we don't want it to be slappy in the face blue. Just a little bit. So there you go. It's just a little bit of blue, not a big anything, just a little bit of sky, not a lot. I'm going to zoom out so we can put the card together. I have everything pulled out. It's only going to take us a couple of seconds. As you can see, you can tell where I put the heaviest hand at by the back. I chose yellow for the card base, because you guys know me, I like colors. I like colored card bases. An A2 open card like this is my favorite. That's why I do it all the time. I chose this green paper from my Oz paper pad. I'm going to use my Barely Art glue. So look, this person's going to have some serious good luck. They're going to have Glenda, the Good Witch, on the back of their paper that they can't see, and a leprechaun. I mean, how lucky is that? You should get real lucky then with this card. So I'm just going to lay this on as a mat. Then we're going to use my little press pop here. Oh, I'm crooked, so I'm going to fix that real quick before the glue dries. I want that to be over just a tad. Come on. Do it, do it, do it. There we go. Just going to add a tad bit more glue along the edge of this since it kind of dried already. But it'll be fine. We'll just rub it with our press pop. It'll stay on there and we'll be good as gold. Then we're going to take our cute little leprechaun right here. We're going to glue him on there. It looks really cute. You like it? Yay! I like it too. But I am going to put good luck on this one because I just think that'll be fun. With the rainbows and the horseshoes and the gems. All the coins. Good luck, good luck. There we go. Kind of flip it over. Rub that real good. Get myself a good hold. Flip it over. And oh my goodness, how cute is that? I'm going to grab a white piece of paper real quick for the inside. We are going to put a little bit of bling, and I'll show you. I've already picked it out, so it's pretty easy to put it on here. I found that I had some gems from Stampin' Up! That I've had for a really long time but haven't used, and I think they're perfect. So I will show you once we add the sentiment. So the sentiment, good luck, is in the stamp set, which we looked at the beginning of the show. I'll lay it over here so you can see it. Good luck and St. Patrick's Day. It just has that one larger size image, which clearly works perfectly on an A2 card. I cut out the good luck and I just fussy cut it myself and then put it on like a rectangle like this. And now we're going to add this to the card. I want to add it between those coins because I don't want to lose the fact that they're falling, because I think that's really cute. So we're going to put it in between them. I'm going to press it with my press pot just to make sure it sticks really good. And on the back side. And then these are the gemstones I picked. So they're brushed metallic adhesive back dots. And I like them because they have these gold ones and they're in different sizes. So I think they'll look really cute around the outside of this. So we're going to put them up here. I think I'm going to put 2 down by the sentiment, so we'll have 5. I'll have an odd number and it'll be perfect. And the gold just adds to it because of the gold coins. It just makes it perfect. We only have one last thing to do and it'll be super fast. It's our white gel pen. So I'm going to add some to his buckle on the opposite sides of where I put the darkest shadow at. I'm going to add just a tad bit on the top of his nose, a little bit on his shoe, and then I definitely want some in these, so I'm just going to put one little flick in there. And there we go. All done with this cutie patootie. Isn't he fun? I mean, we got a background super fast. We didn't have to do a whole lot. Just throw that part together. And I just love it. I hope you guys really enjoyed that. Again, here's the stamp set. And if anybody wants, I'll add the affiliate link under the video as soon as it's over. If you're watching on YouTube, it'll be in the description along with the Copic marker colors that I used. And if you guys ever have any questions, let me know. And yay, we'll be back on Thursday, 8:30 Central. Love you guys. Thanks for all the support and for being here tonight. Good night.